Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin broadcasting as always live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas on a Tuesday evening. Pretty chill Tuesday evening, pretty chilly Tuesday evening. Hope everybody out there is having a pretty good week. I'm having a pretty good week myself. I was really kind of tossing around whether I was going to stream tonight, but I want to keep my schedules consistent, so here I am. What's going on here? Oh no. What? Wait, so okay, my audio is still coming in from the mic. I don't know what happened with the YouTube audio here. Oh, it's still there. For some reason it just it quacked out on me. All right, well, you know what? Enough of my intro song has played, so let's just slide into this bad boy. Yeah, I was just planning on make sure I don't bump that thing anymore. I was just planning on chilling for the evening. I believe I titled this stream Taco Tuesdays, and that's not false. I actually have some bison meat that's thawing over there because I intend to make some tacos here in a bit. So it's probably not going to be a long stream. I haven't eaten dinner yet, but I did want to actually do some streaming, catching up on some news stuff, and then probably jumping into, well, you know what? I don't know whether it's going to be Halo or The Witcher. Probably The Witcher. I've been playing Children of Morta offline, actually. And when I started playing it offline, I was initially like, you know, I'm just going to mess around. I'm probably not going to get that far at it. And I ended up getting pretty far at it. So next time I jump back into it, I'm going to be in a completely different location than I was when I last left off. But, you know, it's fun. I'm starting to hit a boredom wall with it. I mean, the game is rolling out new characters each time, but there's just such a discrepancy between playing with melee characters and playing with range characters, where it's like, and not just range characters, the little girl, the little fire mage, she's okay, but the inability to fire her magic while moving kind of puts a crimp in her ability, but she can still do a good deal if you're just on top of your movement game. But Linda, the archer, like, some people would probably say because you can get farther with her, she's OP. But honestly, what I feel like is like she's the only balanced character. Like you could do, because you still get your ass whooped in that game. Like all it takes is a momentary lapse in concentration and you're wiped. So like you have to be on top of everything and on top of managing your health and all of that sort of stuff. How you're managing your potions, and sometimes it's not very advantageous to pick up a health potion as soon as it drops. You might want to leave it there for some other time, but you know, all of that sort of stuff you gotta take into account when you're playing with her. But with the melee characters, it's not like that at all. Like you've got no choice but to get up on people, and you know, once you get up on someone, contact causes damage, so you're just gonna get wiped regardless. The father, you have a little bit more of a chance because he has that shield, so you can at least block some stuff with it. But everybody else, you know, the kung fu guy and Kevin, and you know, I just unlocked the dude with a hammer. Like you're just gonna get wiped. The dude with the hammer, actually, he has a substantial amount of hit points, and he can. There's a number of enemies he can just one hit with that hammer, so that gives him a little bit more survivability. But yeah, it's still like you're still getting ganged up on. It's definitely a two-player game. You need one melee guy and you need a ranged person. Doing it solo, like your only shot is playing with a ranged character. But yeah, it's getting to a point now where I'm like, all right, it's just kind of a repeat of you know, I went through the caves, I went through the forest, now I'm in like a little city. It's just a repeat of all the same stuff. The cold weather's getting me. So, yeah, I don't know how much more Children of Morta I'm going to play. It's still a good game, but yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to play. And I've got my Witcher investigations to dive into. So, but there are a few news items here I want to just kind of skim over. I haven't really read any of them just yet. The topics just seem like interesting things to go over, so may as well do that. Why is my phone just like blowing up right now? Okay. Yeah, Justin was supposed to join me tonight, but I guess he's tied up in some family matters. So perhaps on Friday or Saturday he'll join me. It's the winter months, man. I'm telling you, these winter months. Oops. These winter months, man. All right. What the heck is going on here? Has that always been the design of this shirt? I must not have ever just really paid attention to it. Alright, let's start with this one here. This is a little bit... I always end up not liking... I spend so much time doing the mic placement thing while I'm setting up the stream. And then once I actually start streaming, I'm like, actually, I don't like the mic placement right here. This is... I need to remember that this is where I actually like it. This is how I like it. Alright, let me move that over here. Alrighty then. This is Fresh Air on NPR. Anyways. GameStop pushes employees to the breaking point during the holiday rush. Pay freezes, online orders, and staffing shortages plague the last video game chain still standing. Oh man, GameStop. I first interviewed at GameStop. When was this? Well, actually, I guess if I want to be super technical, my first interview was at Babbage's back in like 99 or so. I must have been a senior in high school. Turned in my application, and of course they didn't bother contacting me. Excuse me. I turned in my application, of course they didn't bother contacting me. But at some point, a few years later, after I moved, that was in Oklahoma, after I moved to Austin, yeah, okay. I'm trying going back, way back in the recesses of my mind for my memory here. But I remember about in 2002, I went and applied at a FuncoLand, and it was still GameStop. Like GameStop owned them. There were some stores that were still called FuncoLand. It hadn't all been uniformly converted to GameStop just yet. But I went and applied at a FuncoLand, and hey Rhea, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. I'm just recounting my my history of working at GameStop way back in the day. I helped them open up a store. They hired me back in 2002, and I helped open up one of the stores here. And I've worked at that GameStop for like 6 years. And it was kind of a bummer because when I first started, they were still a privately held company. And shortly after I started working there is when they went public. And when they were privately owned, it was pretty chill. It was cool. There wasn't like a whole lot of weird edicts coming from corporate or anything like that. We could decorate the store pretty much however we want. We could highlight whatever games we wanted to highlight. So it was kind of like, you know, your classic video rental store where, you know, Greg has his picks and David has his picks and Sarah has her picks and that sort of stuff, and you would label them all in the car, whatnot, and whatever games were in the demo units, like they told us sometimes, okay, demo this game, but more often than not, we would just put whatever game we thought would be popular in the demo units. So it was very laid back at that part. I worked at GameStop for over a year. Oh, okay, cool. Wait, when was that? Like, when did you work at GameStop? Like, it must have been after, because, like, so once they went public, though, like, that's when they really started to drop the hammer on a lot of stuff. So, like, we didn't have the freedom to be able to, like, decorate the store how we liked. We didn't have the freedom to, like, have our own little sections where we'd recommend games and have our recommended games in that little area. We didn't have the ability to just put in whatever game we want in the demo kiosk and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the times whenever we got a game, a used game that didn't have a box or anything, we would make our own cover art. We lost the ability to do our own cover art even. Oh my god, were you a store manager? I was only ever an associate. Managers made like 2 or 3 more than associates, and I worked lots of shifts, so I ended up making almost as much as a full-time key holder. I worked from 2014 to 2015. Okay, I see. No, I wasn't a manager. Largely because, I mean, they wanted to make me a manager. They wanted to make me a key holder. But shortly after I started at GameStop, I started working at Midway, and so Midway was my 40 hours. It was really more like 60 to 80, depending. It was my 40-hour-a-week job, and I just didn't quit GameStop because I wanted to still check out games and get the discount. So I would work super part-time at GameStop, like on usually on the weekends, but sometimes on the weeknights. But you know, I never wanted to be a manager. I just wanted to still have the discount and whatnot. But early on, when I first got hired, I was interested in trying to become a key holder and all of that. But you know, once I got hired at Midway, I was like, all right, gives this GameStop thing, I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. Turns out it lasted like an additional 5 years after I got hired at Midway. But yeah, we were able to check out new games. Ripping open the new games for free was euphoric. You know what? I will tell you, I disliked that. I really disliked that. Like, I didn't like the idea that we were selling games as new that we were personally taking home and playing and stuff. I was always opposed to the idea. I didn't even like really taking the. I didn't like taking the discs out of the games and then like putting the empty box on the shelf, because it always led to an issue whenever it was like the last copy of a game, and then someone was like, they would try to buy the last copy, and I'd pull the disc out and put it in there, and they'd be like, wait a second, I thought this was new. And then I'd have to go through that whole rigmarole. Yeah, it is new. We just take it out of the disc so that it doesn't be on the wall, blah, 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 blah. And that was a lot harder sell for me to sell if I knew that somebody had taken that game home and played with it and all that sort of stuff. Like, but that was just like a personal thing for me. Like, I checked out used games whenever possible, all the time actually. But I didn't particularly like doing the new game thing. Selling open games as new as a joke, I agree. Yeah, it kind of bothered me to do that, and I hated getting into arguments with customers over that sort of thing too. So, you know, and I got their point of view. I got exactly where they were coming from, especially like, you know, the persnickety collectors that would come in. I really didn't want to deal with those guys, but you know, it's just a part of the job. But yeah, I've worked a number of Black Fridays during the holiday seasons at GameStop, and you know, the time that I worked it when it was a privately held company, like, it was busy, but there was never any pressure from corporate to like hit certain metrics and whatnot, and you know, keep the place open stupid hours or whatever. But when it went public, it became super obnoxious. I mean, there was just a lot of decorating and stuff we had to do. There was always constantly secret shoppers coming around, and you know, there was this you know, which you would like, yeah, exactly, what you would like to renew your Power Up rewards card. I see you haven't had an active membership since 2010. Yeah, I stopped working there before they did, I guess, whatever the rewards card stuff was. But I mean, it was all Game Informer subscriptions for me, like having to get people to subscribe to Game Informer, and then on top of that, having to get them to make a reservation on a game. And they would constantly be hounding us for those numbers. And I didn't give a shit at all. So I was constantly being talked to by my manager about, you know, I didn't hit my sub numbers, I didn't get any reservations or anything like that. We answered the phone, we had to specifically hawk reservations. We always had to make sure that we were doing that sort of thing, because we had secret callers all the time too. So it was just an annoying thing to deal with, on top of just the regular pressures that comes with working retail during the holiday hours. Like, I've had some very ornery interactions with people. It is weird because you would think that, like, I'm not a small person. I'm kind of a giant. And most of the time I'm intimidating to people, but, like, no one really gives a fuck about that during Black Friday. They'll fight anyone. They'll fight anyone and everyone they think they could. So, like, having to deal with that mindset with people in an environment like GameStop, you know... Now, I didn't read this article just yet. I'm just basing it off of, like, this pay freezes and online orders and staffing shortages and whatnot. Luckily, I've never had to deal with pay freezes. Like, I was always paid on time, at least, for whatever pennies they were throwing at me. But online orders, staffing shortages were always a thing. Like, we had high turnover. People were coming in and out of there all the time, and a lot of the times the people that we were forced to hire were just untrustworthy people. So, like, we had inventory issues all the time too. It was not good. Like, when you have high turnover, at a retail store, you're gonna have inventory issues. You're gonna have a lot of shit to deal with. You're gonna get loss. You're gonna get LP, loss prevention, coming in quite often, and several times we had our rights for checking out games suspended. Like, if there was too much loss and shit, LP would be like, all right, you can't check out games anymore. And, you know, at that point it's like, well, what am I doing working here then? Like, I have 4 jobs right now and I'm going to school. Like, I don't need to work at GameStop if you're not gonna let me check out games. I was there when they started the credit card program. Wait, there was a credit card program? We'd get grilled for nothing, for not offering power-up credit cards, warranties, and asking for surveys. Literally pennies. Yeah, literally pennies. Like, I think I was making $6.25 when I started, maybe even less than that. But I didn't know they had credit cards. That's obnoxious. That's super obnoxious. You would think that, I mean, I don't even know how GameStop still exists, to be perfectly honest. Like, with the way that digital downloads are going, and, you know, the ability to buy games, even physical copies, super easily on Amazon or any other kind of online service. Like, why would anyone ever go inside of a GameStop? I mean, used games is the answer, and that's always been their forte. But again, you can't really do used games with a digital downloads. They're trying to get in that NFT racket, but I don't see that working out for them in the future. Our store was looted constantly. It's their fault for turning the store into a collectible shop. Yeah. Our stores... I mean, the store that I primarily worked at was generally okay. The worst one here in Austin was the one at Highland Mall. Like, that store was constantly under, like, an LP lockdown. I remember working there one day. I mean, that store was a nightmare. Like, someone took a shit in the middle of the store. Like, they went behind the PC games rack and just took a shit right in the middle of the store. I remember hearing that and I was like, what the fuck is going on at Highland Mall? Like, how are they letting this... You couldn't see the guy squatting and be like, hey, but then, like, one day I had to work there and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. There's just a constant stream of people just flooding in and out of the store, and there's a bunch of people that are trading stuff in. And usually at my store, when we traded stuff in, we processed that shit as soon as possible, stickered, put it in the drawer, put the box on the shelf, and we're done with it. But there was such a high volume at that store and so many people coming in that there was just stacks and stacks of games and controllers and systems and shit that were back there. And it was just a mess, a nightmare mess of things that they just couldn't get to. And it was awful. And I remember the only reason why I even went into that store location to work there was because the general manager had been fired, which was sad for me because the general manager of that store was the guy that hired me. He hired me, and I worked at his other store for a little while before I transferred to work under someone else. So it was a bummer that he got fired, but after going to that store and seeing the state of it, I was like, okay, yeah, I understand why. And I think they had lost like a $5,000 deposit or something like that. I got a dip, but it was good chatting with you. Take care. Have a good stream. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in and sharing your GameStop stories. I always like hearing other people's experiences at GameStop because it was a shitty place to work at, but at the same time, it was a cool place to work at because of the people I worked with. Like, I'm still friends with some of those old GameStop employees. In fact, I've made a lot of friends there outside of GameStop through the GameStop connection. There's like a whole crew in Austin here that's like that. But it's a tribe. It's a tribe, not unlike the Rocks. It's about drive. It's about power. It's been a gangbuster year for those at the top of the GameStop pyramid. Revenue is down and stores are closing, but the stock price continues to hover around an unprecedented $200 a share, which is every indication that you need to know that the stock market is an absolute racket. It's an absolute racket. It's a Ponzi scheme. Largely, it's a Ponzi scheme. You know, and somebody in this whole GameStop racket's going to be holding the bag. Could be forced holding the check at the end. And the thing is, it was initially those private equity firms trying to short it, and they lost billions of dollars. So, forging gilded parachutes for its fleeing C-suite. For many at the bottom, however, it's been one of the worst in recent memories, with current holiday onslaught driving a final nail in the coffin for those tired of all the bullshit. The GameStop subreddit, a digital water cooler employees gather around to commiserate, has been even more grim than usual. Quote, "I did the best thing I could think of doing for my mental health, and I dropped those keys," one user wrote over the weekend in GameStop parlance for quitting. "Last year is when things started to turn into a psychologically abusive relationship between me and this company," wrote another. The last few weeks has been the worst." Let me pop this little thing open and see what's going on over here. Ready to move on. "I've been with this company for 4 years. I've learned much, both positive and negative, about another area of retail. Last year is when things started to turn to a psychologically abusive relationship between me and this company. The last few weeks have been the worst. All but one of my key holders quit because the pay isn't great for the stress we deal with." How are they still paying people sub $10 an hour? "I don't blame them. I have 0 qualified candidates for those positions in my pool." That's what I'm talking about. When you have high turnover rate, you're not going to get the best people that can come in and do the job. They're going to come in, do the job poorly, and probably steal some shit and then get fired or quit themselves. Like, if you find somebody that's actually decent, they're not going to stick around for whatever shit you're paying them. They're going to be like, "I'm better than this. I'm going to get out of here and do my thing somewhere else." "There's no one from other stores in my area to help right now because they're already helping each other. My mental health has degraded to such a state that after a seasonal and SGA quit..." Seasonal employee. "After a seasonal and SGA quit on me yesterday, I broke down and cried in my car. Fought back..." Oh, buddy, don't ever cry about GameStop, dude. "Fought back my tears on my drive home. Got up after 3 hours of sleep to go back in and cover today. I've been at my absolute limit today. I almost collapsed from exhaustion 3 times today. I can't do this anymore. I need to get out. I don't want to leave without someone else. Fuck them. Lined up, but I can't stay in. I can't stay in what has been abusive." Dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I sympathize with this guy 10,000%. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, what do you think you owe GameStop? Like, don't ever think you ever owe any company, like, this much. Like, breaking down and crying in your car, it's not your problem, dude. It's GameStop's problem. And you should convey that to corporate office. You should be like, "Yeah, man, nobody wants to work here. Go figure. The pay shit. The abuse sucks. There's nothing we're really getting out of it other than, people realizing that they can do better elsewhere. And so they quit to go do better elsewhere. I don't know what you want. I don't know what else you want from me. Like, fire me, I guess, if you want. I'll also join them in looking elsewhere. Like, don't ever feel, and this is like, maybe this is a uniquely American thing. I don't know. Well, I think it's probably, a few other countries may have a culture of work that kind of mirrors this sort of psychopathic tendency to tie your self-worth, your personal value to your job, which is the last thing you should do. And I say this as someone who does that exact thing, but you know, I recognize that it is a fault built into me by, you know, the society that we live in, largely capitalist society that in which workers in this society have very little power or say over their work life. And for many years, just make shit. I mean, eat shit, really. I mean, I worked in the game industry for many years and didn't make that much more than I made at GameStop. In fact, sometimes I made as much at GameStop, as much at the game studios as I made at GameStop. I mean, when I worked at Aspyr way back in 2005, 2006, you know, they weren't paying me that much more than what GameStop was paying me. I had more hours. They paid me, I think they paid me they probably paid me 50 cents an hour more than what GameStop was giving me. Maybe a little bit more. But GameStop wasn't consistent hours. It was usually like maybe 25 to 30 hours a week. And, you know, sometimes it was the opening shift, sometimes it was closing shift and all that, sometimes on weekends and all, whatever. And the game industry was a straight, you know, 9 to 5, 40. Well, at Aspyr it was a 9 to 5, 40. You know, there was a lot of overtime at other companies, but Aspyr was 9 to 5, 40. You know, which, you know, so I made more money just by working more hours, but it was also consistent hours. So that was beneficial for me in that regard. But like, it sucks to know that like I wasn't making that much more hourly at the game studio as I was at Aspyr. And it was that way for a lot of the other companies I worked at too. It got a little bit better as I, you know, as things started to, you know, it started to catch up with the game industry here, where people were not as eager to work these jobs for menial wages. They had to start increasing their wages so they can get more competent people to stick around. And I was a beneficiary of that as well. But when you're working in a climate like that, you know, and all you have to show for it, you like have this level of dedication to a company that you're devoting your everything to, and all you have to show for it is like a constantly just barely above the water bank account, you know, and any kind of you know, emergency situation that can come up can put you underwater. You feel helpless, man. You feel helpless. You feel mistreated. You feel undervalued. You feel abused. And when you pile on, like the good thing about my experience in the game industry in that regard is that I wasn't dealing with customers. It wasn't retail work. When you pile having to deal with customers in a retail environment on top of all of that, then yeah, I completely understand why someone would break down and cry in their car and fight back tears and, you know, be exhausted and have all that stress and shit. Like, I get that entirely. You know, it sucks. But, you know, no company is worth that, man. Like, just quit. Ready to move on. You should have moved on a long time ago. And I know it's easy to say that in such a cavalier way. It's a big ordeal to, you know, especially if you have other people that depend on your income. And that's really the psychotic nature of captive capitalism, right? It's like, you know, it's inflicting violence on you to be like, well, you're either gonna be a subservient worker for the benefit of my profit, or you're gonna die of starvation on the streets, and your child's gonna die of starvation on the streets with you. Those are your options. You know, when that's the climate that you live in, then yeah, you could easily get to feeling disillusioned by everything. I feel your pain. I also have to run the brutal Kloppen shift. I don't even. Oh, okay. Close to open shift. Yeah, or close and then open. I've done that several times. Since my best key holder quit on the spot last week because of shitty conditions. All I had was one seasonal from 7 a.m. to 2:30 who's been a godsend, but wasn't like I couldn't take breaks since I can't even ring transactions. I've also had enough. Wait, what? What does that mean? But wasn't like I couldn't take a break since... Oh, I misread that. This person couldn't take a break because their seasonal couldn't ring transactions. Why the fuck couldn't their seasonal ring transactions? What's the point of having them around? I've also had enough. I too don't have anything solid lined up, but I'm dropping that 2-week notice because it's never going to get better here. If time has proved anything, it's only getting worse. Did you also receive 20 boxes of distro to add to your workload? Personally, I'd say go. Yeah, just get out of there, dude. It's easy for me to say because I've not done it yet, but you gotta leave. I fully plan on leaving in a couple of months, but until then, I too am in this abusive relationship. I don't have it as bad as you, but I definitely relate. I don't have an answer, but I promise you GameStop isn't it. There's no it gets better. I can attest to that. If you're thinking about leaving, the seed has been planted. Complacency is the biggest enemy you have aside from anything you have stated above. I've been trying to fix my mental health for 2 years now, going on 3, due to both my jobs, GameStop being one of them, and would love to have saved all the money I spent on fixing that alone. Don't sacrifice that if it's becoming too much of a problem. This company doesn't pay enough or respect their employees enough to stress, cry, or have mental breakdowns. Stop caring like they have and apply. Yeah, exactly. Worst case scenario is termination. Enjoy unemployment, mental arrest. Well, I mean, you know, enjoy unemployment is not really a thing. Not entirely, at least. There's a whole other bag of stress that comes with unemployment. What does this one say then? Out of curiosity, how did you guys fare for the past 2 days? I'm thinking this was probably over Black Friday or something. Anyone quit? Rude customers? Great ones? SFS overload? Registers breaking down? Our pin pad on register 1 tanked and somehow our register is now set for a day ahead, so we've had to spend the past 2 days calling support just to close our store. Also, for some ungodly reason, website said we had Series X when I have never in my 5 months at this location seen one. People were also calling to cancel Bops? The fuck is Bops? And then sending Uber to pick them up. Honestly, I've worked a few holidays with GameStop and this was the absolute worst I've had to deal with, and it all falls down to our how our company handled it. Also, to the people who came in on Thanksgiving saying you should be home with your family, you are the reason we are not. Yeah. If it were not for the fact my store was relatively slow and pretty easy job, for the pay I would find somewhere else, but I'm not in a rush. Shout out to everyone who made it. Yeah, okay. There have been a flurry of posts like these recently as the company approaches its busiest time of year. GameStop has always been a notoriously difficult retail job that people put up with in order to be in the proximity to video games. With the ongoing pandemic, labor shortages, skyrocketing inflation, and transformation of the company into an online sales giant has put a strain on employees like never before. Every store is held together by tape and glue, one current store manager told Kotaku. GameStop did not respond to a request for comment. Following the collision of online meme lords and Wall Street earlier this year, GameStop's stock price has inflated to a record-shattering heights. In June, the company exploited what that store manager described as dystopic stock market bullshit to sell 1.1 billion in new stocks, bringing its cash on hand to 2 billion. Damn, what the fuck? But many stores have barely seen a dime of that, 6 employees from different locations throughout the country told Kotaku. Instead, a pay freeze, of course, why wouldn't there be a pay freeze, They say has been in place for the last 2 years and has kept employees at minimum rates well below industry averages. I could fucking go to the Target right down the street and make more money stocking shelves with milk and cheese overnight than I'm making right now running an entire store. One current employee said, "Yeah, dude, it's always been that way." While big box stores and supermarkets are raising entry-level rates to 12 and 15 in some places, GameStop keyholders in charge of opening and closing stores are making $9, so they really haven't raised. Damn, they're making the same money that they were making back in like 2004? Unbelievable, dude. Why would anyone work there? It's not worth it, people. It is just strictly not worth it. I know. You can check out games. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Like, go someplace that'll pay you well, and then you could buy a game instead of having to rely on checking it out. You know, it's just not worth it, dude. $9 an hour? Places like Target, Walmart, and Best Buy were closed on Thanksgiving, but not GameStop. Word of the surprise opening came down from management in early October. The GameStop subreddit filled up with complaints from employees who would no longer be able to travel for the holidays to see. Oh, that sucks. That is very. I mean, that's a month. That's about a month out, or a month and a half out. But that still sucks, man. Complaints of employees who would no longer be able to travel for the holidays to see families some hadn't seen in over a year because of COVID. Imagine that, dude. You've been locked down, keeping away from your family because of COVID for a year, and then when you're about to go see them for Thanksgiving, GameStop's like, nope, you're working? Fuck you, dude. They all should have been like, no, I don't think we are. See, this is where a union comes in handy, folks. This is collectivism right here in the workforce. All those GameStop employees should have been like, yeah, I don't think we are. I don't think we are working on Thanksgiving. I think we are going to be going on a strike on Black Friday, on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. How long that strike will last, maybe it'll end by that Saturday, but you don't know. We'll see. We'll have to play it by ear. We'll see what you guys think about taking some of that stock money and floating some out for our employees, and then we'll talk about ending our strike. We don't get Thanksgiving off because corporate values cash more than its employees, wrote one user. That's the name of the game in capitalism, baby. A year after the launch, PS5 is still continuing to sell out everywhere, but 3 GameStop stores told Kotaku they had anywhere from a handful to more than a dozen in stock starting Thanksgiving, followed by Xbox Series X, SS, oh Jesus, God, I hate those names, and Nintendo Switches on Black Friday into the weekend, propelling an even bigger holiday rush than usual at some locations. People are ravenous for these systems. Yeah, absolutely. So what the fuck? They just had them like sitting in a warehouse waiting for Black Friday or something? Compounding this onslaught was a massive increase in the number of online orders each store was expected to ship due to huge Black Friday discounts and pre-owned deals like buy 2 get 1 free. Online order counts that rarely surpass 100 were now breaking caps of 300 or more. Some employees claimed. 3 employees from different stores told Kotaku that cash registers went occasionally unstaffed and some had to work late in order to keep up with all of the new orders. One store manager said they started Black Friday at 6:30 a.m. and didn't leave until 11:30 p.m. That's rough, man. If we are going to treat stores like Amazon fulfillment centers, then we need Amazon fulfillment center hours. God damn it. What? I don't know what Amazon fulfillment center hours are. You probably also need Amazon fulfillment center wages, which I think is now $15 an hour thanks to Bernie Sanders. One user wrote on the GameStop subreddit, "Shut up before corporate hears us, removes our bathrooms, and gives us bottles to piss at instead." Yeah, exactly. It's like Amazon shouldn't be like what you're reaching for here. Even if, sadly enough, they are better than GameStop. Part of GameStop's exploding stock price has revolved around the company's takeover by former Chewy.com founder Ryan Cohen, who made billions selling pet food online. He installed some former Amazon execs at the company, and GameStop has since reduced online shipping times for games from weeks to days. Oof. According to some employees Kotaku spoke with, the company has been pretty transparent about a new push to transform existing stores into online distribution centers. But without better pay or improved infrastructure, the new strategy is falling entirely on the backs of already exhausted and browbeaten staff. Every employee Kotaku spoke with said turnover has been at an all-time high, with those who last more than a year taking the mantle of seasoned veterans. They've got kids running these stores, said one store manager. They can't even afford cars. Mom drives them to work. This company is continuing to go boldly where no fucking retailer has gone before. I mean, that's... yeah. While GameStop has traditionally found no shortage of young gamers whose passion it can exploit to upsell customers on useless warranties and pre-orders for the latest Funko Pop, it may have finally soured the deal too much for newer ranks. One employee said that one employee said when they started, they used to at least get codes for the latest Call of Duty. Now they're lucky if they even get point cards to spend on Call of Duty's Battle Pass. Employees are forced to hear repeating messages daily about how GameStop cares, but every action proves otherwise. Oh man, they're doing that shit now? Oh god. One store manager told Kotaku, "Store morale does not exist. Upper management wants us to hire anyone with a pulse despite experience or knowledge of the space. I'll be honest, I contemplate dropping my keys and walking off almost every other shift." Just do it, man! All of you guys. Every GameStop employee out there that feels even close to this should just do it. Walk away and fucking put a stake in the heart of this fucking vampire company. It's been dead. It's been an undead company for at least, 10 years now. Just stake the heart, let them die. We will all move on to something else. If brick and mortar game stores continue to need to be a thing to any degree, there will be somebody that comes in and fills that vacuum. Maybe local places, like we have Game Over Video Games here in Austin. I think they may have opened up some stores in some other states too. Possible they step in. Possible Game Fellas. I think there's still a Game Fellas that's around in Austin too. Maybe they step up, even though Game Fellas is trash. They always have been. They're worse than the GameStop back when I got hired there. I don't know if they are still, but they were at that time. But there might be some new ones that open up too. Who knows? Who knows? GameStop doesn't need to exist though. Just drop off your keys, everyone, and let's all, move towards a better future where this shit doesn't exist anymore. What the fuck? 15 years with the company, 2 weeks went in today. Sad in a way about leaving, but I'll have a nice gap between jobs and get a 15-day vacation around Christmas. Well, good for you, dude. How about Geno's your favorite and most hated GameStop moments? I love to hear what a 15-year vet has to say. You made it 1 year longer than me. Favorite? The conference where they announced we were getting a PS4 and Xbox One. Everyone went crazy. Least favorite? I had a kid poop on the floor at my store. That's. I wonder if this dude is fucking. I wonder if this dude worked at Highland Mall. His mom wouldn't listen as they finally left. She was writing a check. The poop fell out of his shorts. Oh, gross, gross. She was pre-ordering 2 DSi. Audible mention belongs to being betrayed by team members I trusted. One instance, what the fuck? I was the best man at his wedding and he stole. Stole what, dude? If he stole from GameStop, who cares? Let's see. PS4 was huge. I was pooping in stores. Yeah, well, the Highland Mall story, it wasn't a kid that pooped. It was a grown-ass person. I think this is a sentiment that a lot of us former employees have. As a former employee, I dream of the day that all current GameStop store employees go ahead and strike and just not open the stores and demand a living wage, better benefits, and better support in the stores. There are a lot more of you on the field and then regionals that don't know how to work cash register and HQ, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Just fucking do it, guys. Just do it. You guys need to do it. I think they finally done it. So I think after this holiday, I gotta promote myself to. Yes, I never thought it would come like this, but the company has beaten everything out of me. I even talked to my SL, and we both agree that things have never been this bad with 50, 60 SFS coming in every single day, all at once, or price changes happening 2 days ago, and then every game goes back up, and price 2 days later despite being on sale. We get almost no... excuse me. We get almost no respect from a lot of guests and the corporate nitwits. It's sickening, and honestly, $9 fucking an hour to deal. That's insane, dude. $9 an hour to deal with ignorant assholes all day while also being pestered about numbers. Side note: anyone else notice they want us to start convincing people to auto renew? Said we weren't gonna push things, but now they want us to push. And don't get me started on the fact that this company and job is legit starting to suck the fun out of most games. I'm starting to lose interest in video games, and that hurts, yeah. Sorry for my grammatically fucked up post, everyone. Just beating a super stressed SGA before... or just being a super stressed SGA before going into open alone until 2 p.m. And there's been a robbery and a shooting at the store. Oh, God, yeah, that's another component. A friend of mine that worked at GameStop with me, he worked at a different location when it happened. Him and his manager, they were robbed. 2 guys with shotguns came in, tied him up at gunpoint, put him in the back room, and then just looted the store. Pretty traumatic experience, man, for him at least. I mean, I wasn't there, so. But that happened a lot, and we would always see, they would always be, we would get these printouts from corporate talking about, you know, make sure 2 people go take the trash out and all this other sort of stuff, and, you know, have somebody on the floor when you're locking down and kicking people out and whatnot, so that, you know, etc. Just the safety shit. And because we would always be hearing stories about GameStops being robbed and shit and people being shot. All right. Speaking of really shitty companies, I guess there's some more doings about the Activision Blizzard bonanza. What time is it? 9:17. Starting to get a little hungry here. Blizzard employee will detail studio's alcohol-soaked culture in press conference. Lisa Bloom, the celebrity lawyer once known for advising Harvey Weinstein in his sexual assault case, is the victim's lawyer. Oh my goodness. Imagine having that as like your claim to fame. Yeah, I'm the lawyer that defended Harvey Weinstein. I mean, and you know, it's part of our legal system. Everyone's entitled to a lawyer. You need to have a defense in court. You can't just have a legal system where people are like, "Oh yeah, you're a scumbag. You don't deserve defense." Like you have to have a defense. So I don't really want to say, but I mean at the same time, as a lawyer, you could choose who you want to defend. And Lisa Bloom, the celebrity lawyer who represented Bill O'Reilly, Donald Trump, Bill Cosby's sexual assault accusers. Okay. Accusers. She defended, she represented Bill O'Reilly's accuser. I mean, you can't just front load those names. Okay? That's brutal. You gotta rearrange that sentence to be like, Lisa Bloom, the celebrity who represented the accusers of Bill O'Reilly, Donald Trump, and Bill Cosby. Because, well, you know, when you just put it out raw like this, you're saying that Lisa Bloom is a celebrity lawyer who represented Bill O'Reilly. I mean, I know you have the apostrophe there, but it's like Bill O'Reilly, Donald Trump, and Bill Cosby. It's like the trifecta of fucking sexual assaulters. as well as once advising Harvey Weinstein in his sexual assault case, I mean, that's an about face right there, has announced that she will be holding a press conference on behalf of one of the survivors involved in the numerous sexual assault, harassment, and discrimination allegations against Activision Blizzard. I represent a Blizzard employee who alleges she's a victim of sexual harassment. Our press release for our press conference tomorrow at Irvine headquarters, where we will demand accountability for victims who have been subject to harassment at the video game company. A woman currently employed at Blizzard Entertainment, and her attorney, Lisa Bloom, will describe alcohol-soaked culture of sexual harassment women endured, including numerous sexual come-ons and physical touching, and the retaliation she experienced after she reported the sexual harassment. It will be the first time this Blizzard sexual harassment victim has spoken out publicly. All are welcome to attend and show support. Despite the EEOC's investigation and CA Fair Equal Opportunity Employment, whatever C means, investigation and California Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit, despite in-depth Washington Post and Wall Street Journal reporting telling many victims' stories, and the company still has strict responsibility for playing games with women's careers. Okay. The press conference announced today in a press release from Bloom's firm will take place at Blizzard Irvine, California, but when? According tomorrow. When was this? The 7th? Is that today? That is today. So I guess it'll happen tomorrow, Wednesday. Alright, well, we'll see what happens. Though numerous people have spoken out about their experience at the company, this press conference will be the first time a current employee has publicly come forward. The press conference will be streamed at 12 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, December 8th. I mean, I guess I could have just kept reading and I would have gotten my answer. On Lisa Bloom's Instagram account. Weird. Alright, well, clout chasing. That's not, I was just joking. That's not clout chasing, alright? It's just a weird platform to do it on. But, interested to see what comes of that. I mean, Bobby Kotick is still the CEO. He's still there. Even though there's more and more people that are like, you know, coming out and taking a stand against him, or not taking a stand, as we see here with this Game Awards article. The Game Awards won't take sides on Activision Fallout to focus on reveals. Jeff Keighley supports people sharing their stories, but stops short of criticizing the Call of Duty publisher. As Jeff Keighley's annual Game Awards show enters its 8th year, the creator and the host told the Washington Post today that he's still thinking about how to navigate Activision Blizzard's involvement in the ceremony following the reports of sexual misconduct of the publisher. It's not that hard. You kick him out the show. You're like, you can't be a part of this right now. Maybe in the future, after you axe Kotick and you make some real changes to your work policies, but until that happens, you can't be involved with this, man. We want to support employees and developers. No, you don't. Keighley said in an interview about what to expect from the 2021 Game Awards, which takes place on December 9th. Keighley added he supported people coming forward with their stories, but also didn't want to diminish developers' opportunity to spotlight their games. We have to think very carefully about how to proceed, he said in an interview. This is one thing that I absolutely hate about the Game Awards, is that the Game Awards, it's basically just like, it's all promo. Like, they have trailer reveals and like advertisements for shit. It's weird. It's not like an award show environment at all. And maybe some people would say that makes it a good thing. You know, not a whole lot of people like the stuffy and pretentious award atmosphere of you know, the Academy Awards or the Golden Globes or whatever, the Emmys. But I personally prefer that. I mean, I don't watch those shows that often. Every now and then I do, but I prefer that over the weird naked consumerism of fucking the Game Awards, man. Like, there's something obnoxious about watching something that's billed as an award ceremony and just constantly being marketed to, like, non-stop. It would be like watching the Oscars, and it's like, and now, the 2021 In Memoriam, brought to you by Taco Bell, Liv Mas. Are you mourning the passing of a legendary actor? What better way to mourn their passing than with a Doritos Crunch Taco Supreme? That's the kind of vibe that I get from this Game Awards shit. It's gross, dude. Like, if you're gonna have us, like, it kind of diminishes like the value of what the actual awards are, right? Like, you're trying to reward people for their work. Like, you did a lot of hard work. You put out this game. People really loved it. It was a labor of love for you and your developers, and as such, you are going to be rewarded for your efforts with this acknowledgement. You know, that's what it's supposed to be. And in so doing, you're gonna expose your art to more people who may not have been privy to it, may not have heard about it or been aware of it, but now because it has this award attached to it, there's this ceremony attached to it, now people are like, oh, Game of the Year, or oh, role-playing Game of the Year, or whatever. I want to hear this. I want to see what this is all about. You know, it's that kind of a thing, right? And you could say that's marketing too, of course, but it's not. It has, I guess, maybe that veneer of pretension makes it a little bit more. It makes it a little less craven, I guess, than what the Game Awards actually is. The Game Awards is basically like E3, you know, and that's how I feel whenever I see clips from it. That's the funny thing, like, these things don't get very good viewership numbers. Nobody watches the Game Awards, and, you know, almost nobody watches the Oscars. If you look at their YouTube channels, their videos for the Game Awards get only a little less views than the videos for the Oscars. They pretty much get the same amount of views. Like, no one's really caring about this shit. But, you know, there is more prestige. There is more prestige attached to the Oscar awards than there are to, you know, the Game Awards. And a part of that is just that, you know, people still perceive video games as a childish, you know, thing and not art. You know, games are not art. We have to think very carefully how to proceed. He said during the interview, despite being one of the most prominent figures in the video game industry, Kayla has so far refrained from calling out reported years of abuse at one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. Kayla and the Game Awards did not respond for a request to comment. Activision Blizzard, which faces lawsuit, is one of the handful of companies on the Game Awards advisory board. In addition to Activision, President Rob Kostic. Huh? Is that a different guy? That name is no way. Is that a different dude? Wait, so Rob Kostic and Bobby Kotick are different guys. So you got Rob and Bob. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Rob Kostic. The board also includes executives from Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. All three of them came out finger-wagging at Activision. And many of the game industry's other corporate giants. Executives from those console manufacturers in particular were some of the few voices who spoke out recently, albeit internally rather than publicly, following a bombshell investigation by the Wall Street Journal about the misconduct of Blizzard that implicated its CEO Bobby Kotick. While thousands of the publisher's employees called on Kotick to resign, Nintendo of America's president Doug Bowser, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan, and head of Xbox Phil Spencer, rather, not Phil Spector, a totally different dude, each emailed their respective staffs to express their own disgust and concern over the allegations, though none announced any specific changes to their business relations with Activision Blizzard. Yeah, so basically they were like, we're going to send out an email internally, and then we want that to be leaked, so it looks like, oh, this is our earnest expression of this distaste at Activision, but we're not actually going to, like, do anything. You know, people still buy those Activision games. We're just gonna make it look like we're really disgusted. In addition to recognizing the hard work and artistic achievement of game developers, the Game Awards is also a giant marketing platform from gaming companies that advertise their upcoming games. I hate that shit. Imagine watching the Oscars and every other couple of fucking presentations, there's some douche coming out there. Now let's watch a trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. You know? It would be obnoxious. Maybe they do that. Like I said, I haven't watched the Oscars in a while. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they just hawk shit now. Everything is just hawking shit. Everything's an advertisement. Last year, Activision used the event to show off the first season of Call of Duty Black Ops. Yeah, okay. In the latest episode of Inside the Game Awards, a podcast series promoting the show, Kaylee confirmed that new game announcements and trailers are by far the most popular part of the event. Of course they are. Of course they are, because nobody really, like, people don't care about award shows. The Game Awards don't have the prestige that, like, the fucking Oscars or whatever's have, you know, and people, and, like, the nerds that pay attention to this shit just want to see new trailers. They want to see the reveals. They want to see the big events. So it really is just E3. It's E3 under a thin veneer of, like, award ceremony. And the number one reason most viewers tune in. He also spoke at length about the work and collaboration with game companies that goes into curating each year's selection of trailers. Kaylee confirmed that Washington Post that the 2021 show won't include... Kaylee confirmed to the Washington Post that the 2021 show won't include anything about Blizzard's recently delayed Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2, but didn't mention other Activision Blizzard games that might appear. Accusations of misconduct and abuse are hardly unique to Activision Blizzard, however, okay. In addition to the growing mountain of reports about crunch at many of the studios often nominated at Game Awards, other members of its advisory boards have also faced criticism. Sony PlayStation Division was recently sued by a former employee alleging gender discrimination. Microsoft has faced a number of discrimination accusations over the years. Reports of a culture of sexism by Riot Games eventually resulted in a giant settlement, and Ubisoft, which faces its own massive Me Too reckoning last year, continues to be accused by current and former employees of failing to take complaints of misconduct seriously. Welcome to the game industry, everybody. You need a union. None of this is going to change without a union. Without collective action on the part of the workers. This story's weird. I don't know much about it. I'm just going to glance over it real quick. Alleged Bitcoin inventor trial ends without a real Satoshi standing up. So the whole thing about Bitcoin, it was created by this dude, Satoshi Nakamura or something like that. Satoshi Nakamoto, sorry. And the whole thing is that nobody knows if this dude is real or not. They don't know his real identity. I guess this other guy, Craig Wright, was under trial for him and suspected of being Nakamoto. Or he claims that he's the guy that created Bitcoin. Which would be a big reveal. I'm not sure what he was on trial for. A jury has ruled that Craig Wright, a man who claims to have invented Bitcoin, won't have to give up half of his supposed stash of crypto, a stash valued over $50 billion. What the fuck? How? Sell it right now. I want you to go sell all your Bitcoin for $50 billion. See what happens. The court case has generated a lot of buzz in the Bitcoin community because he would have had to transfer those Bitcoins if the court had ordered him to, and that's something only the real Satoshi can do. They should have ruled him. They should have ruled that he had to pay a little, like $100 worth of Bitcoins. Just transfer $100 worth of Bitcoins, just to see if this guy is the real Satoshi. Just out him. If the name Satoshi Nakamoto rings a bell, it's because that name shows up in the original white paper that described how Bitcoin would work. While Satoshi is a hallowed name in the Bitcoin lore, it's also used as a way to denominate the smallest unit of currency. Nakamoto's identity has never been proven. We don't even know if it was one person or a group of people. While Wright has often repeated the claim that he's Satoshi, many experts agree that he hasn't provided any evidence to prove it. Proving whether a pseudonymous, I guess. Oh God. Proving whether a pseudonymous currency belongs and a pseudonymous person is difficult to say the least, but someone amassed a stash estimated somewhere between 750,000 to 1.1 million Bitcoin early on, and it's thought that only the inventor of Bitcoin could have done such a thing. The coins were some of the first mined on the Bitcoin blockchain when it was first invented, back when mining could be done on a home computer rather than using specialized equipment. It's these Bitcoins that were at the heart of the case, which started in 2018 when Wright was sued by a deceased former colleague's relatives. Those relatives actually agreed that Wright was involved in the creation of Bitcoin, but claimed that Wright wasn't the only one, arguing that a man named Dave Kleiman helped Wright invent the cryptocurrency and that the estate was therefore entitled to half of the Satoshi stash. The court case garnered so much attention because, again, much of the Bitcoin community feels absolutely certain that Wright didn't create the cryptocurrency, and there was a tantalizing possibility that the court could make Wright actually prove that he owned the coins during the trial, that he'd have to cash them, or that he'd have to cash them and similarly prove ownership if he was ordered by the state to pay half of them to Kleinman's family. While the trial was an absolute roller coaster, the judge more or less called Wright a liar and accused him of trying to use forged documents as evidence. What? Dude, that's a big crime. Judge slams Craig Wright for forged documents and perjured testimony. A Florida judge has rejected several of Craig Wright's objections during a hearing, slamming him for producing forged documents and giving a perjured testimony. Now, how is that not a fucking crime? Judge Bruce Reinhardt has slammed Craig Wright for producing forged documents and giving perjured testimony during ongoing litigation between Wright and Kleinman during a hearing concerning the Tulip Trust. Reinhardt questions Wright's credibility, noting that in the past, the self-proclaimed Satoshi Nakamoto had openly lied to the court, particularly given my prior finding that Dr. Wright has produced forged documents in this litigation. I decline to rely on this kind of document, which could have easily been generated by anyone with word processing software and a pen. I give no weight to the sworn testimony of Dr. Wright. I feel like this music is very loud. Let's see. I give no weight to the sworn testimonies of Dr. Wright that advance his interests, but that have not been challenged by cross-examination and for which I cannot make credibility determination. I previously found that Dr. Wright gave perjured testimony in my presence. On March 9th, 2019, Judge Reinhardt ordered Wright to produce a list of his Bitcoin holdings, which Wright again claimed he could not do as it was held by a blind trust that he could not access. Wright estimated that it would take until January 2020 for the list to be delivered by bonded courier. Judge Bloom allowed Wright until February 3rd, 2020 to file a notice to the court indicating whether or not this mysterious figure has appeared from the shadows and whether the defendant now has access to the last key slice needed to unlock the encrypted file. On January 6, 2020, Wright produced documents evidencing previously unidentified trust, Tulip Trust 3. Both Judge Bloom and the plaintiffs requested several depositions seeking to establish how Wright obtained the Tulip Trust 3 documentation, to which Wright objected to numerous interrogations based on attorney-client privilege and spousal privilege. Wright rejects discovery asserting attorney-client and spousal privileges. Wright claimed that his wife is the trustee of the Tulip Trust and received the trust agreement as an encrypted file during December 19th from the Trust Council. As such, Wright asserted that the communications between his wife, Ramona Watts, and the Trust Council, Dennis Mayaka, are protected by attorney-client privilege, adding that the communications between he and his wife are protected by spousal privilege. The judge determined that the record does not establish that an attorney-client relationship exists between Mr. Mayaka and Ms. Watts, also disregarding Wright's Mayaka declaration as it had not been adequately authenticated. Further, the judge, so this dude is definitely, Jesus, so he's like one of those libertarian, of course he's a libertarian, he's a Bitcoin prick, but he's one of those libertarians that like gets in front of a judge and is like, actually, I'm a sovereign citizen. Are you maritime law, bitch? You can't. Yeah, there's a spousal privilege. Is spousal privilege a real thing? I don't. That sounds like something you may have just made up. Maybe it is. Spousal privilege, also known as marital privilege and husband-wife privilege, includes two types of privileges: the spousal communication privilege and the spousal testimony privilege. Okay, so it's a thing. The purpose of the privilege is to provide assurance that all private statements between spouses will be free from public exposure. Okay. Where was I at? Further, the judge found that the trust document failed to identify Mayaka as counsel, noting that he is assigned to a different role. As such, the judge concluded that the record does not establish that Mr. Mayaka is the counsel to the trust of The trial as such, the record concluded that Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me today? As such, the judge concluded that the record does not establish that Mr. Miyaka is consul to the trustee of the Tulip Trust. I mean, come on, trustee of the Tulip Trust, get out of here. Adding that Mr. Wright and Miyaka do not have an independent attorney-client relationship. Judge requests judicial assistance from the UK court. On the same day, the judge requested judicial assistance from the senior master of the Queen's Bench Division of the High Court in the United Kingdom in litigation between Kleiman and Wright. The ongoing case concerns the efforts of Ira Kleiman, the deceased brother of David Kleiman, to claim his brother's share of the Tulip Trust, a stash of more than 1 million bitcoins that was purportedly set up by Wright and Kleiman following their supposed creation of Bitcoin. Wow. Well. So, he called him a liar. We didn't get any moments where Wright was asked to prove without a doubt that he was Nakamoto. Wright claims the trial proved he invented Bitcoin, but as Bloomberg writes, the years-long litigation in Florida has done little to quiet the skeptics. According to the block, the jury wasn't asked to determine whether Wright was actually Nakamoto. Instead, its job was to determine whether Wright and Kleiman had a business relationship that would entitle Kleiman estate to any fortune Wright may have made if he actually did invent Bitcoin. Well, so what? Did they rule that he didn't invent Bitcoin then? The story isn't quite over yet, though. Wright's been ordered by the jury to pay $100 million to W&K Info Defense Research, a company Wright started with Kleiman. The jury says he breached the LLC's intellectual property rights. Coming up with $100 million is no small task. So if we see a stack of Bitcoin in the neighborhood of 2,000 coins at today's rates move from an address widely attributed to Nakamoto, it could prove what the courts didn't. Craig has also reportedly said that he'll donate most of his Bitcoin fortune to charity now that he's won. Oh, please. While many of the crypto community wouldn't bet even a single Satoshi on that happening, it's almost impossible to imagine what would happen. Okay, so basically... Sheesh. Yeah, that's right, I said sheesh. What an ordeal. And all for a scam coin, too. All of this shit is a fraud. All of this shit is so fraudulent. It's just a Ponzi scheme. A car maker's $23 billion plan to keep you paying long after you bought your car. It's all being presented as investing in software, which is funny. What is this? If you look at headlines about Stellantis' new money-making scheme, things seem pretty innocuous. Stellantis bets on software, says Wall Street Journal. Stellantis launches a $23 billion software push, says Automotive News. Software sounds good, right? Well, something else is at play here. Subscription services that keep you paying long after you bought your car. All of that and more in the morning shift. Okay. Stellantis thinks it can make $23 billion per year on in-car subscriptions. Oh my god. The company we used to know as Fiat Chrysler is far from alone in pushing subscription services. VW also quickly comes to mind, but I just want to make clear that this is what looks like an industry trend, not just the Stellantis things. But what Stellantis is planning is rather ambitious, from Automotive News. What is this? Let's see the highlights here. Stellantis plans to generate about 4 billion euros, $4.5 billion USD, in addition to annual revenues by 2026 and around 20 billion euros, 23 billion USD, by 2030 from software-enabled product offerings and subscriptions. Presenting its long-term software strategy on Tuesday, the automaker said it's expected to have 34 million connected vehicles on the streets by 20... Okay, let me just say this real quick. One of the things I've been dealing with this past month was the fact that I haven't been able to drive my car. It's been in an undrivable state. Early in November, the 3rd of November, I believe, I was driving it back to my house after picking up some lunch, and my check engine light started flashing. And Once my check engine light started flashing, what had happened was whenever I tried to rev past 1800 RPM, my car would just start to chug. It'd be goo goo. So I use this little thing called Fixed. It's a little plug-in that has an app with it where it can read your engine codes. I had a code that that determined that it was some kind of a knock engine error or whatever, which sounds scary, right? Like if you're driving around with an engine knock, then you could be doing a lot of damage to your bearing or your rotor, even maybe your block. So it's a Hyundai Sonata. So I called like a Hyundai dealer that I go to get it serviced. Tried to schedule an appointment, and they told me we're all booked until March. I was like, March? I can't just sit around with my car in an undrivable state until March. Like, I need sooner than that. And they couldn't help me out. So I started calling every Hyundai dealer in the Austin area, yelling at managers and whatnot, demanding to speak to managers like a Karen. And then once I spoke to those managers, yelling at them like a Karen. And eventually, though, there was a dealer in town that helped me out. They were able to fast track me by booking me on the 1st of December. Last Wednesday, or this Wednesday, actually, a couple days ago. Actually, shit, it's the 7th. Yeah, last Wednesday. Unbelievable, dude, unbelievable. So last Wednesday, after not having been able to drive my car for an entire month, you know, I mean, it was still technically drivable, but I couldn't really go. Like I talked about this. I talked about this on it must have been my Tuesday stream last week when I had the altercation at the fucking at the Sonic. Yeah, just you can't drive it very fast and whatnot. And if it was a knock engine issue, I didn't want to drive it and make my engine worse. So I just was out of my car for a month. Well, I dropped it off Tuesday, and after, you know, I had to call them constantly, hound them, figure out what was going on with it. And just yesterday, I got my car back, and they told me what the issue was. It was a software update. That was it. All they had to do was update the software, and then it was good to go. So I was without my car for 1 month and 1 week because of a software update. This software, this subscription shit that they're going to start jamming into all these cars, they're going to make my story a lot more common. There's going to be people who are going to be driving, and then like their subscription's going to run out for something, and then like some feature or whatever is just going to shut off. Or, you know, they're going to have an update because there's some kind of, they determined that there was a bug or an exploit of some sort, exploit, like gaming terms, you know, in their subscription service, and, you know, you got to take your car to get the software updated now. So, and then you're going to have to deal with the shit that I just dealt with. Like, the future for how software integration expands, how software use expands in our cars looks fucking bleak, man. It looks bleak. And it would have been nice if I would have been able, because I was insistent on going to a Hyundai dealer initially because I knew I still have a warranty on it, and I wanted whatever work that needed to be done to be covered under warranty. But also, I did take it to a Jiffy Lube just so they can confirm the code that I was seeing, and they did confirm that code. But they also told me you're gonna have to take this to a dealer. It'd be nice if I had the option to have warranty work covered by non-Hyundai dealers. You know, like if they had partner places that they worked with who could cover that sort of shit. I just want to be able to take my car somewhere to get it fixed and not have to wait a month for it, right? And that's something that, you know, you should be able to do. But as they're starting to do this shit with all this software updating and all of this subscription services, I just get the feeling that, like, the way that our cars are going to be running in the future is just going to be like, it's going to be like what I dealt with times 100, you know, like, oh, you want the sport mode? Well, you're gonna have to unlock the sport mode. You have to pay for that. Oh, but I did pay for it. Okay, well, it's expired now. So while you're driving in sport mode down the highway, you know, you're suddenly gonna see a dramatic decrease in your car's performance, literally out of nowhere. And you're gonna have to go and update your service packets again or whatever. Like, it's really making me it's making me really appreciate what combustion engines provided for the consumer in that regard. Like, yeah, you really had to learn your shit if you wanted to work on your own car, but you know, at least some overlord at Toyota couldn't just push a button and kill your services. And you know, this is just fabricated revenue, dude. This is fabricated revenue. They're talking about $4.5 billion in additional revenue by 2026 and $23 billion of additional revenue by 2030. Like, they're literally fabricating this value out of nothing. It's not like they're providing a service for your car that doesn't already exist. You know, you can get in a car and drive it today. You can listen to, you know, whatever you want on your phone plugged into your entertainment media center or your Bluetooth to it or whatever. You can do all that shit. There's probably some things here and there that's like, you know, nice to have. Satellite connected stuff. What, I don't know. I haven't gotten in a new car in a long time. I watched Doug Nemuro's videos, and some of those quirks and features do seem pretty interesting on some of the higher end model cars, but for the most part, all cars are the same. And they're just pulling this shit out of nowhere. I really want to see a breakdown. Oh, come on. Oh my god, this fucking mouse wheel. What if I click that? What even is Stellantis? This was Fiat Chrysler? They had to change their name to fucking Stellantis? Multinational Automotive formed a corporation formed in 2021 on the basis of 50-50 cross-border merger between Italian-American conglomerate Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and French PSA Group. I don't even know what PSA Group E is. So they have 15 brands. Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Citroen, Dodge, DS, Fiat, Fiat Professional, Jeep, Lancia, Maserati, Opel, Ram, and Vauxhall. Oh, Ram and Vauxhall. Wait, why Ram and Vauxhall? And Mopar. This is not going to be a we'll update it when necessary kind of thing. This is going to be an offensive, judging by this line from Stellantis. We really see software as a growth opportunity, something that can make a huge difference, Chief Software Officer, I never know how to pronounce that name, Yves Bonifant, said, adding that updates could be done every quarter would bolster profit margins every quarter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Who would ever want to fucking buy that car? Who would ever want to buy that car? On the one hand, it would be good for you to be able to upgrade your old car with more modern advances. Hell, I even upgraded my 1974 Volkswagen to have disc brakes and not drums. Upgrades aren't a bad idea. It's just expecting to pull $1 billion per year on software updates sounds more like the kind of revenue extraction that's something done in the interest of the consumer. That's exactly what it is. They're just fabricating value from nothing. And they're like nakedly doing it, you know, in like the worst possible way. Carlos Ghosn taking a shit on Nissan's EVs. He's the guy who was like the president of Nissan who ended up getting arrested. They were trying to blame some racketeering shit on him, I think. And he had a very daring jailbreak and fled to Lebanon. Carlos, I don't know how to pronounce his name either. Hausen, I don't know how to pronounce his name. is talking a lot of shit for a guy who basically gutted Nissan so badly he had to flee the country to Japan. That's not why he fled, dude. Anyway, the original Leaf guy is mad at Nissan's newer EVs lack innovation. That's funny. He's talking shit about Nissan. There's no vision inside Nissan. They have no image about this huge technology transformation that is taking place. They have pitiful results, and they are proud of it. Oh, man. I hope I am the spicy version. Well, you know, it might be that he was set up. I don't know the details on that anymore, but it might be that he was set up. This was a story I saw earlier. I wasn't planning on reading on the stream. I had read it earlier, but I guess I'll just give you the overview. I mean, it's just a shitty tech bro startup company that fires people after getting $7 billion. Or after being valued at $7 billion. And that valuation came with like a $750 million cash infusion. And then they were like, hey, we got to lay a bunch of people off. And, you know, the people who got laid off obviously did not take that very well. But, I mean, this is par for the course for, you know, the tech industry. And it's shitty. It's really shitty. Like, how are you supposed to feel when you get hit with the $7 billion valuation and you know that your company just got a $750 million cash infusion, and then this fucking dickbag has the audacity to get on a Zoom call and be like, I come to you with not great news. CEO Vishal Garg said in the video, which has since circulated on TikTok and YouTube, the market has changed, yeah, as you know, and we have to move with it in order to survive. Sure, this is a survival mechanism for a company that was just valued at $7 billion and given a $750 million cash infusion. Survival mechanism. This isn't news you're going to want to hear, but ultimately it was my decision. I wanted you to hear from me. Last time I did this, I cried. Oh, shut up. This time I hope to be stronger. Oh, what a fucking dickhead. Oh my god, the audacity of this motherfucker right here. The last time I did this, I cried. This time I hope to be stronger. Is this it right here? What a fucking asshole.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I come to you with not great news. The market has changed, as you know, and we have to move with it in order to survive so that hopefully we can continue to thrive and deliver on a mission. This isn't news that you're going to want to hear, but ultimately it was my decision, and I wanted you to hear from me. It's been a really, really challenging decision to make.
What a shithead. Just say it, dude.
This is the second time in
just
my career
say it.
I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this.
Shut up,
the last
dude.
Time I did it,
Shut the fuck up.
This time I hope to be stronger.
Oh my god.
But we are laying off about 15% of the company for a number of reasons. The market, efficiency, and
market efficiency. Capitalism is really the worst.
If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group.
Fuck you, dude.
Oh god, dude. He fucking...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Why can't I pause this fucking thing?
What does this mean for what's next? You're gonna get...
Jesus Christ, why couldn't I pause it?
Wow.
Is this the one? I think this is it. Okay. He really pulled like a fucking bachelor. He really did it. Let me see if I can find that piece of music. Or maybe it was is it The Bachelor, or was it no, it was like no, it's like a Bachelor sort of thing. There we go.
Hi, everyone. Your employment here is terminated for a number of reasons. The market, the last time I did it,
there we go. Now we got
the market.
Now we have the appropriate music
and performances.
He really held it too. He held it. Watch. Listen.
If you're on this call.
Oh! If you're on this call, and the camera cuts. Camera cut to contender. Cut to the contender 2. Cut back to him. You gotta draw it out. If you're on this call, okay, stick the landing.
Are part of the unlucky group.
Fuck you, dude.
Your employment here.
What a shitbag.
Effective immediately.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What a shitbag.
What's next? You're going to get an email from HR, askhr@better.com, to your personal email address.
Oh, that's even better. Ask the HR@better.com.
Give you details of your severance and your benefits.
What's going on here?
For all U.S. employees, we're providing 4 weeks of severance, 1 month of full benefits, and 2 months of COBRA, for which we will pay the premium. So 3 months total benefits if you elect for COBRA.
Oh my
if you
goodness.
Don't get a communication from Ask HR,
oh hey Justin, that guy sucks for certain. This dude really fucking sucks.
Thank you for each and every one of yours individual contributions.
Oh, fuck off!
I wish the news was different. I wish we were thriving enthusiastically as we were at the beginning of this year.
Again. $7 billion valuation that led to a $750 billion cash infusion.
That's not the case. And I am sure you will leave us and be more successful, more fortunate, and luckier in your next endeavor.
And luckier.
I wish you all the best of luck.
Oh, God.
Thank you for everything you've done for Better.
Oh, man.
Your employment here is terminated, effective immediately.
What a Better.com employee said about the layoffs. Okay, let me turn that
The layoff
off.
appears to be completely random, with every department impacted. Top sales performers, culture carriers, senior management, the entire diversity, equity, and inclusion team, territory leaders, trainers, almost the entire Better real estate department, product specialists, and countless others were
Damn, 900 people. They let off 900 people.
Terminated immediately. I was on paid time off, but thankfully checked my phone, where I was receiving hundreds of messages from colleagues who were telling me to check my calendar. I logged in, and there it was, the Zoom with the CEO. Had I not received text, I would have logged in tomorrow to a deactivated Slack email and would have had no idea. After telling us we were terminated, the CEO then went into another meeting with the survivors and disparaged all of the terminated employees. He pretty much said we were dragging the rocket ship down. He also told everyone
dragging the rocket ship down?
He will be spending his time with terminated employees. He pretty much said we were dragging the rocket ship down. He also told everyone that nobody is safe and that he will be spending his time watching over everyone. He also stated that employees will not be allowed more than one mistake. Conveniently enough, there are articles stating that Better received millions in funding yesterday, and it's rumored, not confirmed, that reducing headcount was a stipulation of receiving the funding.
Reducing headcount was it? What the fuck?
So apparently TikTok just crashed Better.com website. Home improvement? I don't think so.
Lord Almighty.
If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group.
CEO strikes back.
I can't even begin to read what the fuck that says.
CEO recently trashed
The unlucky group.
CEO strikes back.
Should I even fucking try? Ugh. You should quit and go work elsewhere if you are this unhappy with something management. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm not going to try to read all of that. Pessimism, skepticism. Yeah, this is I mean, this is I don't know how else to describe it other than just saying that this is capitalism. This is what it is. Like, this is doing whatever you can to make your company as fucking lean and efficient as possible at the expense of literally everything that goes into treating a human being like a decent human being.
Batter.com CEO recently trashed terminated employees and accused them of stealing. You guys know that at least 250 of the people terminated were working an average of 2 hours a day, while clocking in 8 hours plus a day in the payroll system. They were stealing from you and stealing from our customers who pay the bills that pay your bills. Get educated. He also replied to an unhappy employee, "You should quit and go work elsewhere if you are this unhappy about senior management. If you've been working here since 2019, you probably now have more stock vested in value than the savings of most Americans. That, in all likelihood, makes you an ingrate galore. Just quit, please." He even told
makes you an ingrate?
"I answer customers' emails directly myself, while you're probably sitting on Blind or Twitter or whatnot to..."
Like, what I want to see. Hold on, let me go back in here.
If you're on this call,
I want to see, like, maybe I should look this up. Oh, I can't. I have to log in to view the comments. Well, I'm not gonna do that. Oh my God! What the fuck? Team, I want to apologize for the way I handled the layoffs last week. I failed to show the appropriate amount of respect and appreciation for the individuals who were affected and for their contributions to Better. I own the decision to do the layoffs, but in communicating it, I blundered the execution. In doing so, I embarrassed you. Oh, God. I realized that the way I communicated this news made a difficult situation worse. I am deeply sorry and I'm committed to learning from this situation and doing more. Oh, God. What a fucking dickhead. At Better, your dedication, focus, and expertise are essential in the vital work we are doing to unlock the value, joy, and opportunity of home ownership for our customers across the country. Oh, Jesus, if that isn't the most fucking contrived corporate statement, the most contrived, heartless, bloodless corporate statement that I've ever read. Oh, man. Fuck this guy and fuck everything that he's about. It's all Kotick's fault. Well, I mean, so far we haven't heard any allegations of this dude doing anything untoward, but seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if a few months or years down the line something like that pops out. This guy doesn't seem like he values other human beings all that much. But Better.com recently received a cash infusion. Yeah, so it seems like that $750 million infusion was tied to him being able to cut some labor, which he did with gusto. What's this guy's name? Let's see if they have more information on the apology here. Earlier today, sources familiar with internal happenings within the company told TechCrunch that the company's VP of Communications, Patrick Lenahan, Head of Public Relations, Tanya Gilagli, and head of marketing, Melanie Han, have all submitted their resignations. Insider also reported the news earlier today. Damn. Those are some top C-suiters handing in their papers, huh? The company is now unsurprisingly pushing back its SPAC, its SPAC, which was originally expected to close in the fourth quarter of this year. So what, they're trying to go public using that shit too? Garg also confirmed to Fortune this week that the company accused at least 250 terminated staffers of stealing from the company and customers by working just 2 hours a day. Not long after Garg announced the layoffs, he addressed the company on a live stream. He laid out a vision of what he called Better 2.0 with a leaner, meaner, hungrier workforce. Jesus. Garg's reputation as a not very nice person goes back to last year when Forbes revealed the contents of an email to an employee from Garg. Hello, wake up, better team. You are too damn slow. I gotta emphasize the all caps here. Hello! Wake up, better team! You are too damn slow! You are a bunch of dumb dolphins! Dumb dolphins? And dumb dolphins get caught in nets and eaten by sharks. So stop it! Stop it! Stop it right now! You are embarrassing me! Okay, well, that's... that's quite an email. You are a bunch of dumb dolphins. The same Forbes article revealed that Garg was subject of a number of lawsuits from the likes of PIMCO and Goldman Sachs for things like improper and even fraudulent activity at two prior business ventures and misappropriating tens of millions of dollars. Misappropriating tens of millions of dollars? How do you even fucking get a job after that? The recent dip in refinancings is believed to be a factor in Better.com's decision to lay off some of its employees. In April 2020, Better.com said it was hiring aggressively as more people were seeking to refinance their homes in the face of historically low mortgage rates. At the time, I had reported for Crunchbase News that an internal memo to employees from Garg revealed that the mortgage lending startup was looking to hire about 1,000 people in 2020 as a whole, and as more and more homeowners come online for their needs. I wonder if this decision to cut all these people is tied into the fact that, like, the housing market is starting to do a complete reversal. He was giving away stock. Oh my God. This guy does not sound like a good human being, to say the least. Yeah, and this was to the idea that you would be laid off in such a manner, like weeks before the holidays. It's really the worst time, not just for like the whole, the image of it, but also because like it's a dead month for like doing interviews and shit. Because people who are employed, who are going to be hiring people, they're not going to be doing interviews. They're going to be fucking going. They're going to be wrapping up their year as best they can at work, and they're going to be going on vacations. I mean, I'm a part of this right now. Like we've got some openings at my company. We've been doing some interviews. They're slowing right now because people are going on vacations and shit. It's like the worst period of time to have to go job hunting. What? This isn't the same guy, is it? He threatened to burn his business partner alive. Now he's a billionaire? Vishal Garg is a billionaire thanks to his SoftBank-backed mortgage lender, Better.com. There are a lot of questions about how he got here. Oh, no. Oh, no. This guy is fucking Bruce Bolton. Last fall, employees at one of America's fastest... Hold on a second. Let me get the chill stuff going again. Last Friday, employees of one of America's fastest growing began making anxious phone call. They believe that CEO Vishal Garg, a volatile entrepreneur with a history of disgruntled business partners, had been giving huge amounts of equity to one of his most loyal lieutenants in a way that violated norms and seemed to defy explanation. Hold on a second. When was this? Okay, this was published in August. Those employees may have been right. New public filings, interviews with high-ranking company officials, and internal documents reviewed by the Daily Beast reveal that the executive, Elena Noller, was given stock options potentially worth tens of millions of dollars. Unlike normal employee packages, it vested immediately. It isn't clear how much the board knew in advance. She also received at least $8,000 per month for 2 homes, including one in Puerto Rico, and other perks. What? Wait, what? What? What does that even mean? $8,000 per month for 2 homes. It does not appear that any other executive got a comfortable deal at the firm. A SoftBank-backed mortgage lender called Better.com, which is about to go public via SPAC at a massive $7.7 billion valuation. The partner was the best man at his wedding. Oh. It's crazy, says former senior employee of the fully vested stock. It's like a handout. The whole point of options is to incentivize 4 years of work. This is like handing her cash. This year, the pay kept coming. Around early February, Garg announced to his board that he had granted Noller another 1.25 million options. It's easily worth 8 figures, insiders say. For technical reasons, he couldn't authorize more without the board's approval, so he sought permission to issue her an additional 1.15 million options. It's unclear if the approval was ultimately granted. Just 4 months later, in June, Noller left the company after she was placed on administrative leave for allegedly bullying and other workplace grievances. Oh no. Those allegations had swirled for over a year, but even in her absence, major questions remain about the handouts and about the company's oversight structure. In fact, one of Better's key investors, Pinebrook Capital, is threatening to sue the company and Garg, according to a recent company filing claiming there have been fiduciary breaches in connection with Better's corporate governance. Pinebrook, which is already suing over a dispute related to stock sales, declined to comment. Another prominent backer, Goldman Sachs, recently sold much of its stake. The firm declined to comment on why. The guy he threatened. Huh? The partner was the... Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, they talk about this in the article, I imagine. I want to know why he threatened them. The tumult comes in the wake of allegations of a lawsuit involving Garg that he or his companies have misappropriated tens of millions of dollars from prior businesses, that his companies engaged in fraud, that he used ill-gotten money and stolen technology to found Better in the first place. What? Stolen technology? What the fuck is this? That's a whole other can of worms. Like, ill-gotten money? What does that mean? This is like rapidly devolving into like comic book kind of shit. Ill-gotten money and stolen technology. As Forbes reported last year, the litigation has grown heated. In one deposition in 2019, he told a former business partner, once the best man at his wedding, that he was going to staple him against the fucking wall and burn him alive. Garg later apologized. I'm sorry about threatening to staple you to the wall and burning you alive. Good Lord, man. Lord almighty. The best man at his wedding. Whew, well, that's a relationship that turned sour, huh? Reached by phone, Garg called the former business partner a total charlatan who used to be my best friend. Oh, this guy is so dramatic. This is... Always be wary of people who are just super dramatic, that have like theater kid energy. This guy definitely has big theater kid energy, man. A total charlatan who used to be my friend, my best friend. He firmly denied handing out equity without the board's knowledge and declined to say much more on the record. If you're going to do another hit job, you may as well... Jesus, man, what is this guy's problem? Noller declined to comment. A spokesperson for Better said, "We grew our business tremendously last year and are extremely prepared for the discipline required by public markets. The company previously said it was confident the lawsuit involving Garg were baseless." Undeniably, though, Garg's web of controversies has impacted the business. This winter, Morgan Stanley informed the company that due to the lawsuits, it would no longer work with Better on a possible IPO, according to... Hence why the firm turned to a SPAC. And as I mentioned in a lot of my videos I've done over EVs, SPACs are an excellent way for disreputable con artists to take their pump and dump companies public, to engage in the pumping of that public IPO before dumping. That's why all of those companies are under SEC investigations right now. Like, SPACs are notoriously shady and becoming more under scrutiny because of the way that EV companies and other companies too. I know FaZe Clan went public through a SPAC, which is fucking insane. FaZe Clan being that gaming organization. Not that they make... If you don't know who FaZe... You can Google FaZe Clan and figure out who they are. But they went public via SPAC. It's just ridiculous. Around the same time as concerns over corporate governance reached a boiling point, 2 members of the board resigned. Firm outside... This article was also in fucking August, too. Like, knowing this, having this as background to everything that's happening with them now, and, like, further members of their C-suite quitting, like, this... I don't know if this company's ever gonna make it to go to an IPO state. Like, not with this Garg at the helm. That's just his deal. What? Wait, hold on a second. Nobody claimed Garg's compensation and handouts are illegal, and the board, perhaps unable or unwilling to rein him in, apparently knew that he was making many decisions on his own, yet the flare-ups display a potentially hazardous reality according to almost every person that LEB spoke with. Better operates at the whims of its founder, a man who seemingly has not exited a venture before torching every bridge. That's just his deal, a former employee said. Vishal is obsessed with power and with perception of his own self in the world. Yeah, I get that sense. Better specialized in offering low approval rate, whatever. The origin of this money machine is very much in dispute. Garg claims he founded Better in 2014. After he and his wife struggled to buy a new home, they had lost out on an apartment after a cash buyer swooped in, even though the offer had been 7% worse. How is something so big and important so broken up? Former business partners tell a more colorful story. They have alleged in litigation that in the years prior, Garg controlled a kaleidoscope of shell companies that may have improperly diverted tens of millions of dollars from earlier deals. The deals were hugely complex, involving hundreds of thousands of mortgages, multiple debt holders, and of course an investment group based in the Cayman Islands. The crucial gist of things, some of those plaintiffs allege that their money and technology may have been used to launch the startup. Oh my goodness. As the initial claims played out in court, Garg charged ahead. He was a shrewd operator, early employees I better say, capable of scaling an idea to an actual business, and he kept an eye on even the smallest of details. Office managers were chastised if they filled the mini fridge with water brands other than Fiji or Perrier. Oh my god. Garg also insisted on a stockpile of, what the fuck, Gerlostiner, his sparkling beverage of choice. Why do we have biscotti here like this? He once demanded to know. Why do we have biscotti here like this? Isn't it biscotto? I guess biscotto is if it's just one. Well, he's not a fan of biscotti? Staff came to expect these kinds of dress downs, and a sample, yeah, this the email I read before here, dumb dolphins. The aggressive tone belayed a man who preferred to eschew face-to-face confrontations. In 2017, Garg found a solution. He hired a woman in her mid-20s off a commodities desk at Goldman Sachs. Okay, so that's the woman from before. She was firing people. So what? He hired her to be her bulldog? Or to be his bulldog? Mahler ascended rapidly at the company. A little over 2 years into the job, Garg made her executive vice president. 4 months after, she replaced the company's chief product officer. The move confused and frustrated some of her peers who felt that Mahler had little experience for the role. She had recently taken a crash course in product management to learn more about it and recalls co-workers she told about the class. Meanwhile, Mahler continued to serve as Garg's gatekeeper. According to some of the allegations that eventually resulted in her departure, she was known to place employees on performance improvement plans when they voiced dissent or were otherwise marked disloyal. Oh my god. This is brutal, dude. This is. We only ever hear about this shit at like companies where something really bad happens and it like blows up. You know this shit is just going on at virtually every company or every other company, you know, in the country. Like, people just live under this dystopian fucking nightmare of psychopaths and sociopaths that just slit throats and crush bodies, stacking bodies on top of bodies to build these flesh ladders to ascend to these demigod-like states of wealth. And like, there's no escaping it. Like, people who got fired from this company, they're just polishing their resumes so they can go work at another company where this same shit's happening. Ooh, man. Ugh, that's fucking gross, dude. It's fucking, fuck that guy. You know, it's funny. Okay, so I haven't fully read this story. I started to read it earlier. I read the headline and I was about to go on like my typical anti-capitalist rant. They thought they got their dream job at Riot Games, but it was a scam. You know, I thought that they were talking about like, oh, this is another situation where, you know, people thought that they were, you know, getting into the game industry, and oh man, it's just gonna be awesome, gonna be making games, and no, the game industry is actually really shitty. There's a lot of exploitation, the wages are low, you have no voice, blah 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 blah. But no, this is actually about scammers. This is a crazy ass story about like a really convoluted scam. At first, it seemed like a dream come true. A would-be games industry worker received an email from a recruiter asking him to apply for a job at Riot Games. After a brief interview process that spanned multiple rounds over email and Discord, they got the offer. Everything looked official. All paperwork had the Riot logo and professional job copy, seemingly sent from a person who worked at Riot Games. Then, the Riot Games human resource representative, or rather a person posing as a representative, started asking for money. Which, yeah, that's your first clue. The applicant was young, newly graduated from college, and unsure about hiring protocol during the pandemic. They went along with the process, supplying the representative with information they asked for. Everything from banking information for direct deposit and hundreds of dollars for an expensible iPad Pro. Oh man, that is brutal. That's so brutal, but it's brutal because if you're like a kid that just graduated college and have never like had a job like this before, like you could feel like that's normal. You could feel like that's okay. Like, oh yeah, well of course they need my bank account for direct deposit. Yeah, I'll give them that. And oh, you need I'm gonna be expensed for an iPad? Sure, here, have this money. Like, if you're young and inexperienced, then yeah, this seems like a scam that's tailor-made to take advantage of all of your hopes and dreams of working at a game company. When they tried to cash the reimbursement check, that's when they got denied. It was all a scam. They hadn't gotten a job at Riot Games, and now they were out hundreds of dollars. That's a very elaborate scam. Wait, so were they actually doing video interviews and shit? I've been rejected from a lot of jobs, they told Polygon. This felt much worse. Yeah, I can't imagine how much worse that felt. That applicant was not the only person to be impacted by this work recruitment scam. Polygon spoke to several people who have been contacted by the scam ring, each of whom described a complex process that included multiple rounds of interviews, as well as a doctored onboarding process and contract materials. Holy shit. Riot Games is not the only game company being impersonated. Sources tell Polygon they've been contacted by scammers posing as HR and recruiting representatives at Rockstar Games and Manticore Games, among others. But Riot Games is the studio that's now taking action. In a lawsuit filed in November at a California court, Riot Games is suing the unnamed scammers for fraud and infringement. Riot lawyers Dan Nabel told Polygon that the lawsuit is essentially in learning more information about the scammers. Tracking them down is the first step to holding them accountable. The scam is absolutely appalling, Riot lawyers wrote in a complaint. The victims largely are young, naive, and want nothing more than to work for Riot, one of the most prestigious video game companies in the world. Defendants prey on the hopes and dreams of these individuals in order to steal their identities and pillage their bank accounts. Damn, that is rough, dude. I want to see. I hope they somebody should get video of this. I want to see what their fake interview process looks like. What questions they're asking. Soon after targeting an applicant and taking them through fake interview process, the scammer will reply with a job offer, including a contract bearing the Riot Games logo, signed by a chief HR officer. Applicants are then asked to transfer money for work equipment, which will be refundable via an online check that turns out to be fraudulent. Wow. When reached for comment by Polygon, Indeed said it goes to extraordinary lengths to remove fraudulent job postings. We encourage job seekers to report any suspicious job advertisements. Is that where it came from? Nabil told Polygon that Riot Games heard about the scam months ago when a victim contacted the company after filing a police report with their local department. Other emails. I wonder though, like, that's how they found out? They filed a police report. They didn't find out from some random person showing up at their office like, hey, I'm ready to start my day. Where's my dad? Oh, can I get my key card? Like, that's, I mean, I laugh and it's a horrible situation, but what if that's how they found out about it? Like, what if somebody actually showed up expecting to, like, start their day at work and then everyone's like, do you know who this guy is? Did you interview him? I didn't interview him. Did you interview this guy? Oh man, how awkward would that be? And just imagine, like, being the guy that shows up to that and then is like, well, I'm sorry, man, you got conned. You don't actually work here. Have a nice day. And then you gotta turn around and go home. Oof. And especially if, like, you were interviewing for a QA position, because then it's like, well, you obviously were incapable of finding the bugs in the application process. You did not have the due diligence to suss out the scam that you were taken for, and we don't know if we would be willing to trust you with the QA process on our projects here. You seem to not have a discerning eye. That's rough, man. That is super rough. The people who have been defrauded in these scams typically won't get their money back. Yeah, of course, it's hard to get their money back from that sort of thing. But this is such an elaborate scam that I have to imagine that they can't be running this thing in perpetuity. Like, they have faces of people, right? I mean, you're doing video interviews. Start fucking video recording them, screen capping them and shit. Get who these people are. Get their faces. Track them down that way. That's rough, man. Some people have pointed out the COVID-19 pandemic to explain the uptick in these sorts of scams. Yeah. I mean, I imagine that I work at a place where, you know, all of my interviewing was done remotely, and I was hired remotely. I didn't have a in-person interview when I got hired because it was right in the middle of the pandemic, and I'm certain that a lot of companies are kind of sticking with that, even though, you know, people are acting like the pandemic's over when it's not. But then they're doing more in-person interviews and shit. Like, a lot of places are still sticking with strictly remote. Oh, shit. The FTC reported in February that scam victims lost more than $3.3 billion in 2020, an increase of 83% compared to 2019. There's a tendency to think that older people, over 70 or so, are more likely to be scammed, but the FTC said 44% of the 2020 reports were made by people aged 20 to 29. Yeah, probably because people during the pandemic were desperate for fucking money. And they thought they were being helped out. 80% or more of what's fueling this problem is that you don't have a physical office location to visit and say, oh, I can see the logo of the game company. I go, yeah. When it's all done remotely, it makes people more susceptible to that kind of behavior, unfortunately. I want to see video of their interview process. I want to see what that shit looks like. I'm very curious about how deep that scam runs. Alright, let's see. Halo or The Witcher? That's kind of what I'm balancing on right now. I'm debating between Halo or The Witcher. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm pretty hungry, so... whichever one I play, it's probably not going to be for too long. Where was I? Where did I leave off in The Witcher? I know I was making some ground finally. I was getting some ground. You know what? That's gonna be a time investment if I jump into that. I always say I'm just gonna play a little while, and then I get sucked into it, and it takes hours. I'm gonna play a few Halo games, play a few rounds. All right, let's see if this thing will pop up on its own. You son of a bitch. Oh shit, no, I don't want to do that. Properties. It's always the wrong size. Always the wrong size. Alright. Let's see how badly I can get my ass kicked today. I'm gonna pump myself up a bit first with some bots. And then I'll jump into a real player game. Campaign's not out yet, is it? I wonder what time. I wonder if it's like midnight tonight or something. All right, let me jazz myself up with the bots real quick, and then I'll jump into the real shit, the gritty. I do want to play the campaign. I don't know if I'll buy it this week or not. I kind of have some other purchases I need to prioritize. I wonder if this soundtrack is on Spotify. Oh shit.
Capture the flag.
Maybe it is? I don't know. Looks like it might be. Alright, we got some guy in his pajamas. There's me in my slightly better colored pajamas. Alright, looks like all of these guys kind of look like scrubs. Okay, good. Good.
Ah, a classic. Capture their flag, defend our own.
Enemies on me!
Damn, that dude got him. Oh, he got him with a grenade.
Over there.
That guy had a serious shield on, man. I'll tell you what. That guy had a serious shield on.
Hurry the flag back to base. They know where you are.
Oh shit.
You're exposed, Spartan.
Yeah, I know. I've got a big fucking flag in my hand.
Flag capture.
Goes closing in. Enemies hurt.
Shit, I'm almost dead.
Cover me.
That guy was tracking me down.
They have our flag. Take it back.
Oops.
We have eyes on the enemy flag carrier. We have eyes on the enemy flag carrier. Overshield inbound.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Where's my team at? What the fuck? What are you guys doing?
Our forces have seized the enemy flag.
Jesus. These fucking dudes and their shields.
Another one down.
Flag.
Nice. Nice, nice. Good job. Good job.
Over there. Hostiles in sight. Tango's closing in.
Our forces have seized the enemy flag. They have our flag. Take it back. We have eyes on the enemy flag carrier. Expertly thrown, Spartan.
Reloading.
Look there. An enemy flag carrier. Overshield inbound. Killing spree. Overshield available. Flag returned. Flag captured. Victory.
Oh, man. They got me at the very end. Did I die at all in that match? Oh, damn. I don't know what this means. I need to look up what this progression thing means. Premium Battle Pass required. So there's what? I'm getting shit that I can't unlock? 7 kills, 1 death. Not too shabby. Let's watch that flip. Let's flip that with a... I want to do a big team battle. Let's just do... Oh, no, dude. My best bet is big team battle. Quick play, it's too few people. They're going to smoke me easily. Do big team battle. All right.
Total control.
These guys are all dope. Look at me. I look like a fucking chump. Ah, well, that guy looks like a chump too.
Hold all 3 zones to score.
My gun. I want my gun. I'm bad on this map. This is not a good map for me. Oh, shite. This is not a good map for me. I'm not good at this map.
Hostiles are capturing a zone.
Huh? I don't even know where the zones are. I'm just gonna follow... Okay, there they are. There's one. That's the one they're capturing, I guess. Oh, shit.
Zone lost. You're quite lethal with that.
This is my gun. I want my gun. Oops, fuck.
Tango's closing in.
The enemy has seized
Got
the
me.
zone.
Damn. Ah.
Your enemy is nearing total control.
Oh, great. Where are our zones at? I don't know where I'm going. I'm just out in the open,
Allies claiming a zone.
waiting to be sniped. I just need to get rid of this gun. Okay, what's over here?
Zone
Alright,
captured.
well. Let's see what we can do with this bad boy. Now this is some close quarter shit. And here I am out in the... Like, Jesus, why did I fucking start...
Hostiles are capturing a zone.
Total control for the enemy.
Damn. Are you kidding me?
You got new zones incoming.
Well, guys, what are we all doing? We're all just kind of hanging out in the field. Let's go capture some zones here. I can't even see where the fucking zone... Okay. A, B... Where's C? Oh, there it is. What the fuck is happening?
For capture.
It's just like a bunch of fucking explosions all of a sudden.
Time for grenade out.
Your enemy is nearing total control. Your enemy is nearing total control.
Lost the TV.
Oh, dude. I got sniped.
Mopping us up.
We're getting our asses kicked, man. Yeah.
The enemy is capturing a zone.
It's like they're all over the zones, and we are not. We are not over any zones.
Zone lost.
Yeah, well. Where's my gun? I want my gun. This isn't my gun.
The enemy has seized a zone.
Got the M41 Spanker.
Capturing. The enemy has seized a zone.
I guess that's what happens when you, like,
Zone captured.
single-handedly try to capture a zone.
The enemy is capturing a zone.
Oh, shit. There's, like, dudes all over this place. What exactly is Ah, my gun. It's not here. I don't want that one. I might not have a choice.
Ground vehicle en route. The enemy is capturing a zone.
I don't like this gun. Might as well grab the up. Oh, my gun! Give me my
One of
gun.
ours
I
is
want my
capturing a
gun.
Zone. Zone lost.
We are just getting stomped here, aren't we? Actually, we really aren't. They got a zone on us at one point. Or got a point on us, or however this thing is scored. But,
Zone lost.
You're beginning to make this look easy.
this is my gun. Damn it, I just couldn't focus my aim. I panicked. I panicked.
Hostiles are capturing a zone. A gift from the heavens is inbound. One of ours is capturing a zone.
Actually, this is the one I want. Holy shit. Wait, I think this is the one I want. Where's the zone capturing happening? God, I wish I could get there faster. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
Zone captured.
Alright, well, never mind then. I guess well, I mean, it always needs defending, right?
There. Hey.
Oh shit. That was a panic shooting.
Over there. Hostile in sight.
Alright.
We are defending this with our fucking life.
Ammunition low.
No one's getting close to me.
They won't give it up without a fight.
I was too busy swapping guns.
The enemy is capturing a zone. The enemy has seized a zone. One of ours is capturing a zone.
Zone captured.
Tango's closing in.
The enemy is capturing a zone.
I don't even know where that came from.
The enemy has seized a zone. An ally has captured a zone.
Well, let's not walk out into that shit.
An ally is claiming a zone. Eyes up! Ordnance dropping from orbit. The enemy is capturing a zone. The enemy has seized a zone.
Damn it.
One of ours is capturing a zone.
Shoot it down.
Good job.
Your
Oh,
team
shit.
is close to total control.
An ally has captured a zone.
Your team is close to total control.
An ally is claiming a zone.
Enemies on me.
Your team is close to total control.
Where's C at?
Enemies hurt. Taking fire.
I don't know where C is at. Oh, there it is. Fuck.
Pop their shields.
Enemy has seized a zone.
Scorpion tank is inbound.
Capturing.
Damn, come on, guys. Well, we got it. But then we lost A.
Your team is close to total control.
An ally is claiming a zone. The enemy is capturing a zone. Eyes up! Ordnance dropping from orbit. An ally has captured a zone.
We're about to lose C, though.
Shields are down.
Fuck.
Grapple shot acquired.
It's like, what the fuck? They have a tank? Where the fuck did that come from?
Tango's closing in. Enemies hurt.
The enemy is capturing a zone.
Oh, shit.
The enemy is capturing a zone.
Damn it. We're losing everything now.
Zone lost.
Tossing an aid.
Scorpion tank is inbound.
Drop walls here.
Oh, shit.
Your team is close to total control.
It's yours. Now we keep it that way.
Where's C? Go get C, guys. Get C. Damn it. How the heck did they get all three on us?
A gift from the heavens is inbound.
Yeah,
Zone lost.
I'm not terribly keen on this one.
Grapple shots mine.
An ally is claiming a zone.
Enemies on me.
Zone captured.
Oh, damn.
Zone captured.
I can just get to C. We got a minute left anyways. And they have a tank. I don't think C... Oh, C's going down.
An ally is claiming a zone. Grapple shot acquired. Zone captured.
Damn it! Did we lose A?
Air vehicle delivery confirmed. Zone lost.
team is close to total control. You've got what it takes.
We just couldn't do it.
Just not today.
We just couldn't do it. Ooh. 6 kills, 10 deaths. You know what? 6 kills, 1 assist, 1 secure, 5 captures, I guess. I don't know what the difference between secure and a capture is, but you know, not the worst in the world. 6 and 10, that's a classic Buffalo Bills record. Alright, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make myself some food. Yeah, it was a short stream tonight, but it was a fun one. It was a fun one. I'm glad I hopped on board. I will catch you donuts later. Oh no, I had some frame drops? That sucks. Or skipped frames, rather. That sucks. Well, there's always next time, huh? Like I said, you know, usually I stream on Thursdays. I don't think I'm going to stream on Thursday this week, but I'll probably be back Friday, so... Again, I'll see you donuts later.